Hello, thanks for joining me. Well, I've made several videos on cut-off tools, and I think I finally found the best design. Some of you may have seen the video. If not, I encourage you to watch it. It's a direct mount cut-off tool blade holder. Works really well. But this video, I wanted to highlight a couple other things about cut-off work. First, these older lathes have an 1.5 inch spindle on them, screw-on spindle. And I hate to say anything bad about my lathe because this is a really nice lathe. But that's an inadequate spindle, in my opinion, for this size lathe. Larger lathes got a different type of chuck mount that's a lot more rigid. And I'll show you why I bring this up. Okay, I bought this chuck here because I needed a larger chuck on the lathe. This is the original Logan chuck. There's many chucks like that, but what I want to really emphasize here is overhang. That right there is 2.5 inches. This one over here is 4.5 inches. This chuck here is twice the overhang when it's mounted on the lathe. In other words, you're cutting, whatever you're cutting off right here is 4.5 inches from your spindle. That chuck or spindle flexes and you get chatter. This chuck here, it used to be more like 5 inches. It had a big donut sticking out on the end, and I cut it off. It didn't help it much. Still too much overhang. Notice this chuck. This is original. No donut. This is what you need to look for if you're going to get a chuck for this type of lathe, in my opinion. You'll have a whole lot less chatter if it's close to the spindle. That's really not much overhang. Way better chuck. Okay, here's the cut-off tool I made, and I've got a video on it. It's got a clamping mechanism. I cut part way through right there, and it clamps down directly on the compound. It's like that. And when you tighten that, it clamps it to the compound and in the holder. Anyway, the reason I got my compound loose like that is I was going to show you, if you have it straight, you've got a lot better support right here. So it's not absolutely necessary, it's just better. If you're like this, not only does this run into your chuck, but you don't have the support right here that you do if the compound is straight. That's just another thing I found that keeps things more rigid. Of course, one key component is keep that as short as possible. If your blade is hanging out there like that, you're going to get a whole lot more chatter. Just keep it minimized to the depth you need, half the diameter. Well, that about wraps up this video. I just wanted to emphasize the importance of chuck overhang on a lathe this size and with this type of spindle. Totally usable lathe, a good lathe. I'm really happy with it. But you got to work around some of the limitations. One workaround is the chuck depth, and another one is this cut-off tool holder I made. If you haven't seen it, I'll put a link at the end of this video. I'm going to end this video with a couple of clips from a previous video I did. I was restoring a power hacksaw. Some of you may have seen it. I was trying to cut off a shaft that I messed up. It was a 3/4 inch shaft. And I had this chuck mounted in there. And when I went to cut off, even with this tool holder, I got unbelievable amount of chatter. And I installed this chuck, and the chatter was completely gone, totally successful cut off. Anyway, be sure and subscribe and be sure and check out this video. Thank you. Too much overhang. Boy. That ain't gonna work. I don't think shortening the tool will do any good. No. What that is a chuck that's too deep that way. I can put my other chuck on and that will cut off perfect. Much better. The chuck is too big for this lathe.